The beginning of a true Kundalini awakening is the beginning of realizing that we have a direct connection to Source. And what this direct connection to Source means, it means that we are limitless in an energetic level. You might be limited in the physical sense, for there's all kinds of physical limitations that we all have. But when you connect, when you truly have a Kundalini awakening and you connect, you realize that you truly have a limitless way to be and respond to the environment around you. But this can be tough for some to accept because it's almost easier to be a victim. It's almost easier to say, I'm limited in my choice, I can't do that much because this happened to me and that happened to me. And so that's it, I'm limited. That's why I live in a limited way. Now you can intellectually realize that you are limitless, but to truly believe it, to truly live it within, it's incredibly freeing. That's why a Kundalini awakening is so powerful, and that's why it's so chaotic at first, because if you've seen my other videos, I've made several videos on this topic, but it breaks it breaks the old you apart, the old sides of you. You have the opportunity to be reborn in the image of Source, and in the image of Source you are limitless. You truly are limitless. But so many of you live in a limited way. And not because you really want to, but because that's what you know. It's what you know. This is what you know. Oftentimes we do what we know, right? You're in school, you take a test, you answer the questions that you know. Sometimes you get lucky, but oftentimes you get what you know, right? So what do you know? And oftentimes what we know is very physically based. There's limitations. There's so far I can go. I'm this tall. I weigh this much or this little, or I have this much money or this little money. This is where I live, right? These are all limitations, are all boundaries. But within, you are limitless. What do I mean by within? Well, you are first and foremost a limitless spiritual being. And you've come to Earth to experience even more, to expand your experience. And part of the trick with this physical experience is that it can seem like that's all there is. And that is why at some point, most humans, not all, but most, awaken. But truly, it's not even so much awaken, but they remember that they are spirit beings. And in that, there's a big aha moment. But for this big aha moment to truly be realized within you, for you to really feel it, besides just an intellectual understanding, you must go through a deep, deep transformation. So Kundalini is a spiritual awakening that also makes us aware of the physical aspect that we are in, meaning our energy body. Because again, it's so easy to say, I'm spiritually awakened, I understand how the world works. That's very easy to do. You can read 1,000 books and know everything about life and yet have a disastrous life, correct? But when you truly have a full awakening and you are able to at least rise up to your third root chakra, where you can truly enjoy the wisdom of what this awakening is bringing you, the first thing is understanding that you're truly limitless in the way that you can respond to the world. And so that's when you truly get to embody self-responsibility. Not self-responsibility in the way that you might think of it as, I take responsibility, I'm guilty of everything, I'm guilty of that, so I take responsibility of that, or I'm going to beat myself up. That's not the kind of responsibility. This is the ability to really be in the world around you, which is limitless. Limitless. When you have that free choice, that's truly the freedom. But so many do not really live with that free choice. So many live with this concept of, I have 5 responses that I can really, really live in. I can really respond into this world, but 5 responses is what I have. I can say this, I can say that, I can do this, I can do that. But you truly have an unlimited amount of ways in which you can be into the world. And it really starts from within, because without, there's all kinds of limitations. So if you're always living your life without, of course you're going to live an even more, very limited life, because there's so many physical limitations. And that's part of what's so fun when you choose to come into this physical reality. Can you live limitlessly in a physically limited world? And see, what's threatening to so many people when they hear the world limited, physical limited, is because they think, I want to live in a physically limitless world. Yes, the world is physically limitless. There's a whole cosmos. It's limitless. But you do not access that cosmos until you find a true freedom within. Until you find that true freedom within. And that's actually part of the responsibility, because you realize it's not your mom, it's not your dad, or your teacher, that person that hurt you when you were little, that really defines who you are now. It really is you remembering that you are a limitless spiritual being. And when you are faced with those kinds of limitations, you understand how to respond to them. You can see them for what they are. And part of it is to also say, yes, that's part of your choice. You're free to choose, right? That is, you're so free, you're always choosing, and oftentimes you're choosing to live in a prison, in a personal prison. And what Kundalini does, it makes you first aware of this prison, which is why it can be painful for some, and then it basically allows you, it throws all the doors open and says, can you walk through this personal prison of yours that you've created and truly be free? That's when you feel that you're being tested and you're seeing demons, or you're truly facing yourself. And as you do, when you come to the other side and you see that this prison is something you created, and the way you can dispel that prison. So, what's so powerful about the spiritual remembering, Kundalini awakening, spiritual awakening, whatever you want to call it, it is realizing that you are a limitless being. And not just limitless, but also realizing that energetically you are a limitless being, because that is what that energy is moving through you, is that direct connection to source. And when you are there, it literally translates physically. For some at first, that physical translation can be very traumatic, very intense. Some people even end up in the hospital, so to speak, or they have psychotic episodes. Nobody really knows what it is, but what they're realizing is this moment of, I am free. All of this is not what I thought it was. And that can feel like a psychotic episode in a lot of ways. But it can be resolved when you realize that you are limitless in a physically limited reality, which is okay, because that limitlessness truly comes from within. And then you can really begin to navigate the physical reality around you in a much more playful way, in a much more fun way, right? Because you don't have to just respond to it with fear, with anger, with frustration. You can laugh, you can have fun, you can question, you can be inquisitive, you can wonder. All of this, you begin to realize when you truly can begin to feel the wisdom of the awakening, of the remembering. You are so free. You can choose anything. And until you really, really understand and embody that truth, you haven't really lived. But once you do, and you begin to live from there, that's when you are truly unstoppable.